Hello guys and welcome to the stream. Sorry for the little delay there. We did have some technical issues on my side, but we are now in full swing to get this F1 weekend underway with FP1 this afternoon. And just as I've loaded up here, I've noticed Alex Albon with an issue immediately. Looks like the rear brakes are on fire. We do know this track is very heavy on the brakes, especially as there's heavy braking zones of turn 1, turn 5, and I believe it's down into now what is turn 14. I have to check that one. But yeah, big issues there for the Williams boys early on. Hopefully they can get that fixed relatively quickly. Yeah, it's a very big fire though. Still on fire actually. They can't seem to get that out. They've had to wheel it back out of the garage again. Very unusual to see something like that happening. And Albon is now out of the car. Big shame there for the Williams guys. And we're just seeing on the replay now, it lit up when he came into the pit lane. Very similar to, if you remember, Verstappen's issue at 2024 Australia a few years ago. Now, heading into this weekend, obviously there's a few main title lines going out there at the moment. The main one probably being that Max Verstappen, now truly in the hunt for the title, which is a statement that a couple of races ago, I did not think we would be saying. And it's quite incredible the comeback Red Bull, especially Verstappen's side, have had in these last two races, obviously dominating Monza and then following it up with a similar performance in Baku. I mean, the McLarens have looked unstoppable for most of this year, but Max is trying to make sure that someone's there in the fight. He's doing a sensational job at the moment. Just watching a lap on board with them right now. Is purple in sector 1 as Hadjar goes to the top early. But Max going even quicker in the middle sector, as you would expect. Everyone except the Aston Martins out there on the hard tyre at the moment. Aston Martin's out there on the medium. Oh, as Max makes a little mistake there into the final corner. Or final chicane even. Little adjustment on the brake balance. And across the line to go fastest. I think it'll be, this race is probably more critical than any other races earlier this year for the title fight as far as that's concerned. Because if Max can perform like he did in the last two races here, it gives him a proper shout at the title, which is sensational, really. I mean, we're looking at a points gap of, I believe it is 75 points. Let me confirm that quickly. The gap is indeed around 75 points, 79. Oh, as we see Lando scraping the wall in the second to last corner there. Pushing limits early on. But yeah, the main thing I want to point out is last year, obviously, when Lando was trying to chase down Max for the title, the gap was 10 points less than it is currently between Oscar and Max. And Lando was definitely considered a potential title threat to Max. So I think it's fair to say, if Lando was considered a title threat to Max at that point, Max has fully got to be considered a title threat to the two McLarens. Because we know how unstoppable he can be when there's something to win. And he is Max Verstappen at the end of the day. If you've got someone hunting down someone for the title, he's probably the man you'd want to have there. So it should be a very, very exciting end to this season for that reason alone, let alone all the other amazing storylines we've got developing as the races go on towards the end of the season. I mean, whilst there's not too much action on track, we can have a quick talk about Christian Horner and his potential next options going for the future. There were rumours earlier this week that started to circulate that Horner was looking at a potential F1 return as soon as 2027 in the form of potentially a 12th team on the grid, which would be very fascinating, considering we've had 10 teams for so long now, since I believe it was 2017. So the last 9 seasons, we've had only 10 teams on the grid. Obviously, we've got the addition of Cadillac next year, which is very exciting, and potentially a new team under the ownership of Christian Horner coming in 2027. These are all just rumors for Christian Horner's potential.
Radio check. Can you guys hear me? Okay, it seems like we lost Oli. I think we're having some technical issues to set everything up. So yeah, I will try to keep you updated until Oli can sort the mic and everything. So sorry about the issues. Yeah, but better they happen in FP1 than in the race, right? Okay, Petal says yes. Paula says we hear you. Nathan says we can. Okay. Welcome back, everyone. This is the racing statistics watch along of the Singapore Grand Prix. And okay, now we have double yellow. Sector 13, but it was clear. Yeah, it's racing statistics talking. I will try to cover until Oli can sort the issue with the mic, but yeah, if he's back, he will take over. So far we have Alonso in P1 with 1:32.592 time, then Verstappen is second, Sainz just got to P3, right ahead of Leclerc, and then on P5 and P6 we see the two McLarens. Dark Maui, thank you so much. Yeah, I know we have been haven't been producing some videos on the channel, but I hope that I will have more time in the upcoming month or two. So there will be also some videos on the channel like we used to do. It has been some time since we did it. Also, since, well, right now almost everyone is on track except for Alonso, Stroll and Albon. But yeah, nothing too much happening. Norris is on a fast lap. He is setting purple sector 1 with 27.421. Let's see what he can do. There are some mini purple sectors in sector 2. Let's see. Okay, Norris improves in sector 2 too. So he's setting up the purple sector 2. And yeah, it seems like he's going for that P1 position. It says hardware problem from Alex rear brakes and commentator, bigger than commentator. Yeah, seems our brakes got on fire too. And Norris goes P1 with 1:32.493. That is 0.1 faster than Alonso, who is on P2. Okay. So I wanted to let you know, guys, about something. And yeah, this is a good opportunity. We wanted to start race predictions during race weekends. So basically, you can drop your race predictions until the race starts. And there are a couple questions there. And as I say this, Verstappen goes on P2, very close to the time of Norris. So I will drop a link in chat with race predictions. And in the quali stream, right after quali ends, I will share what are my predictions. So then after the race, we will combine all your predictions against mine and we will see who was a better predictor. So basically I'm competing against you for the predictions. And let me just gonna drop the link here. It's gonna take you to the website where you can just fill in. There are like 4 or 5 questions like who will win the race, who will be driver of the day, which team will win most points, and the number of DNF and red flags. So yeah, I will put some charts and some graphs with your predictions and see by percentages who do you think is gonna be the winner or the best team in the race, and I'll share mine in quali. And then after the race, we will see how you did. Did you predict better than the channel or worse? We will see. Maybe sometimes it will be the predictions of Grash because he's going to be doing the commentary. Sometimes it's going to be mine. But anyway, it's going to be us against you. So let's see who can do better. Geras Hakim says, good morning. Good morning to you too. Petal says, I hope Alonso is going to return to the podium. Yeah, we're kind of all hoping for that in 2026. And I think he said that if he has a good year in 2026 and is competing for podiums and wins, he might retire, but if not, he might keep going. in 2016. Whoa, there's a giant lizard on track. Yeah, I think we all remember it. As for the weather, there seems to be like 20% chance of rain this session. I don't think there's gonna be rain in FP2. CB4 Automotive, yeah, this is actually racing statistics because Oli had some issues with the mic, so yeah, I'm taking over to keep you updated. Not much is changing right now. No one seems to be really pushing. So Norris is on P1, ahead of Verstappen, Alonso, Leclerc and Hamilton are P4 and P5. Sainz on P6, Hajar P7, and then Piastri on P8, with the Mercedes completing the first 10 positions. Those who are just joining, Albon had some issues with the brakes, and yeah, he's in the pits. I think the team is working to try to solve the issues. Hopefully everything is fine and he's gonna be back. Now we see Tsunoda on a fast lap. He's setting some purple mini sectors in sector 1. Yeah, he's improving, but that's still not a purple sector 1. Leclerc is also pushing. Let's see if he can improve his time. Currently he's on P4. And now Hamilton goes behind Tsunoda. He's also setting up some purple and green mini sectors. Everyone seems to be on the hard tire, well except Alonso and Stroll, who did their stints on medium. Yeah, that's gonna be another interesting thing for this weekend because okay, Hajar now is going purple sector 1, so seems like he's on a very fast lap. Yeah, I was talking about the strategy, so usually here is a one-stop strategy, but this race weekend we might see a two-stop because the time spent when going in the pits now is a lot shorter. So yeah, with a lot shorter pit stop, I think that some teams might be tempted to just go for 2 pits because yeah, it might be worth it if they are fast enough. So that might be interesting and spice things up, and I think that just adds to the unpredictability of who can win this race. I mean, I know that we all know that this is not the favorite track for Red Bull, but with 2 pit stops and yeah, it's a street circuit, so anything can really happen. And maybe we see the championship battle come alive with 3 drivers fighting for it until the end, because on the races that follow, Red Bull is strong, and yeah, we might expect Max to gain points on the McLaren, but here is very unlikely, but still anything can happen. So let me see if you guys have started to add the predictions. Okay, I see some responses, and maybe we will be able to do something for the quali stream. I'll post here the link. And you don't have to do the predictions right now. You can wait for after quali. Just the predictions need to be made before the formation lap on Sunday. So then we will close the poll, and yeah, we will do the stats. Ashvik says it's not a favorite track for Max. It has historically been good to Red Bull. They didn't finish on podium only in 2023. Yeah. Still, this could be the most important race for Red Bull, especially for Max, as if he gains points on the McLaren, I think he's still in contention for the for the championship, but it's gonna be very, very hard. I mean, McLaren is still fast. They would still need to, to have some DNFs to really have a real chance. But the pressure is building up, and we've seen issues with Norris when he's making some mistakes under pressure. And last race, we also saw that with Piastri, so that really opens the door. Because so far, Piastri has been bulletproof until, let's say, the last race. But yeah, as he said, he's only human, and of course the pressure is really big. Now seems most of the grid is in pits. We see Alonso making a lap, then is Lawson and Gasly on track. So not much going on. 65, the Blue Hawk said, Yuki has been on a big improvement lately. Yeah, last race was good for him. He finally got some points. And he's going to be very important for Red Bull because besides the championship battle with the drivers, we have the constructors battle, and this one is even more important for Red Bull because it really matters being P2 or P4 in the drivers championship. So the battle is right now between Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull for P2. And yeah, Yuki's points will be very much needed if Red Bull is gonna go for that P2 position. And that's gonna give them bigger monetary benefits and some more time in testing and all this stuff. So they really are gonna go for this. The good thing for them is that Ferrari is saying that they are basically dropping the 2025 season and they are focusing on 2026. I mean, they have been saying this every season, so it's kind of expected to hear after the results they're having. And Leclerc seems that he's not very confident that they can win a race this season, so it looks like their focuses are gonna be on 2026. So that goes as advantage to Red Bull, I think. And with Yuki scoring points, the battle might be with Mercedes. And Mercedes also has their issues because Antonelli hasn't been scoring a lot of points in the last couple of races. So yeah. Antonelli, Sainz, and Alonso. Everyone else seems to be in the pits. Alonso goes fastest. He is P1 on the unused medium tires, and he has been setting purple sectors, well, in all sectors, sector 1, sector 2, and sector 3, all are purple. He's almost half a second ahead of Norris. Aston Martin is looking good, but now Sainz is on a fast lap. Green sector 1, purple sector 2. And let's see, he's coming into the last corner. He's going P1. So Sainz is now P1, 0.2 seconds ahead of Alonso. So seems like the track conditions are improving and everyone is going faster. Antonelli is the other one on track. He's setting green sector 1. So yeah, he's on a fast lap too. Let's see if he can do something. Yeah, he's going with green mini sectors in sector 2 and improving his time, but still no purple sector. Stroll is now out on track and I think he's gonna be going he's on an out lap, but he's gonna be going soon on fast lap. Connect sector 2, he's still improving. Says it's a Spanish one too. Yeah, indeed. Let's see. In turn 19, and to the main straight, Antonelli goes P6. By the way, if any one of you is here for the first time, liking the stream and subscribing to the channel really helps us out, so please do so. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps us bring more people here. So yeah, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, now is a great time to do that. Link says nice weather. If it was sunny, it would have been super hot. Yeah, here the temperatures can go crazy high, and I think the drivers will appreciate that it's not that hot. So yeah, they won't be that physically drained and exhausted after the race. And it seems for the race it's gonna be like rain before the race, I think. So it should be cooler weather. Oh, Jenna says safety car driver is Schumacher. Is that true though? Or you're trolling us? Okay, so you're trolling. Now most of the drivers are on track. We see Antonelli, Stroll, Leclerc, Colapinto, Sainz, Hajar, Verstappen, Tsunoda, Norris, Russell, Behrman, Piastri, and Hamilton going out of the pits on outlap. And we are up to 290 likes, so 10 more until 300. "25 minutes to go. We are more than halfway through the session. Sainz is currently leading the sheets with Alonso in P2. So a Spanish one too. Yeah, McLaren is out on the soft tires. It seems like everyone is on soft tire right now. Well, not everyone, but most of the people out are on soft tire. But it's still on fast lap. Everyone is doing their out laps. Leclerc is starting a fast lap. And Colapinto. Sector 1 for Leclerc, so he's on a soft tire, so it seems like that's gonna be another good time. It says, I really enjoyed this nerdy data take on the FPs. I prefer Crofty and Brundle for the race. Thank you so much. And yeah, for the race, if you prefer hearing them, you can do that, but you can also have the stream on just to see all the data. So yeah, this is a watch along, so you should be watching on your TV or your streams. And this is like completing the whole experience to have someone to chat with and yeah, interact. Okay, we have 302 likes, so thank you everyone. Leclerc goes P1 with the fastest sector 2 and 3, and right now Norris is taking the fastest sector 1, so he's on a soft tire 2 and he's doing a fast lap. Kajar goes P4 and Norris is, yeah, he has green sector 2. Verstappen goes P3 on the soft tire. And Norris now is heading to the last two corners. Let's see if he can go to P1. To the main straight, Norris goes P2. It's almost half a second behind Leclerc. That's a big gap. It seems like he lost most time in sector 3, so maybe he slowed down there. Yeah, Charles was on soft. Same for Norris and Verstappen. Piastri goes P6, improving his time, but not close to Leclerc. He's a second behind Leclerc. Everyone is on softs, that is out. Hülkenberg is on a fast lap. He's improving his time in all sectors, but yeah, still no purple one. He's going to turn 19. Now into turn 19, and he improves in his time to P8 for Hülkenberg. And Lewis aborted his lap. He had improved in sector 1, but yeah, then aborted the lap. Still seems to be on a fast lap. Although he has a lot of yellow mini sectors, he improves his time in sector 1 and now going through sector 2. Still is improving in sector 2 too. Seems to be setting up some fast times. Leclerc comes out of the pits. It says on the tire icon, do the darts mean that they are used boots? Yeah, if you have like, you see pointing out like on the tires like an arrow, that means that those are used compounds. Without them means that they are new. So Russell has improved his time a bit, but yeah, he is P10 right behind his teammate Antonelli. Piastri complaining his car felt understeery. Yeah, he's currently on P6, so he seems to be quite far ahead of Norris. Half a second behind Norris, so he's having some issues. Where's Leclerc on the pit? No, Leclerc is actually out and he's on an out lap. Also have a Discord, which is pretty active between sessions. So yeah, if you want to continue talking about F1 or anything else, feel free to join our Discord, and yeah, everyone will be there to welcome you. The PN says Sainz podium confirmed. I don't know if he's gonna be wearing the unicorn this race, but maybe that's his lucky charm. Okay, Tsunoda is improving in sector 2 and he's currently on pit 12, so let's see if he can improve his time closer to the one of Verstappen. Tsunoda goes to P8. Seventeen minutes to go. Leclerc now is starting his fast lap. He's setting a purple sector 1. He's still improving in sector 2 too. Also improving his time. He had fastest sector 1, which was taken away from Leclerc. He has a green sector 2. Lawson goes P9. See, currently P14. He's gonna go P4. Half a second behind his teammate. Leclerc seems that he has aborted his fast lap because the sector 2, yeah, he is aborting his fast lap. Convoy says, I want McLaren to win the constructors in Singapore. They most likely will. I mean, for the constructors, it's no question that they will win it. I mean, there's no chance that anyone else can come close. Hajar now completes his lap and he improves to P3. Verstappen setting the fastest sector 2 and he improves his time to P2. He's 0.1 second behind Leclerc. Norris now improving his time. He had yellow sector 1 and purple sector 2. Let's see if he can his time over. Oh, no, his time is not improved, so he remains on P3. Also on a fast lap, well, maybe Hulkenberg. He's improving his time a bit. Says, where do I make the predictions? Well, this website, so you can do it straight there. And there's Grash. How has FP1 been going? Yeah, we were having some technical issues. Oli started the stream, but then I think his connection went out. So yeah, I'm jumping in to fill in. And also, Grash, I was thinking we can start some kind of predictions competition of the fans against the channel. Yeah, I haven't notified you, but you can see the link. It's like anyone can go and make predictions, and then after quali session, we can make like the channel predictions. And after the race, we will compare who predicted better, the channel or the fans, and we can keep score on that. So yeah, just a little bit of spicing the things for the streams. We can just test it for a couple weekends and see how it goes. XY. I mean, I don't think that you should be getting ads that often. I don't know why. It should be like probably around 10 minutes between ads at least. But yeah, I'll try to see if there's something I can do to delay them. Vettel Schumacher says, I hope I beat racing statistics predictions. Well, we will see after the race ends. Rash says, of course, I said there would be a red flag. Well, if you're not gonna be commentating, I don't know. I would bet on less rather than more. Okay, Alonso is on a fast lap and He has some purple mini sectors, but he's just improving his time in sector 1. Ocon is setting a fast lap. He's improving in P9 behind Alonso. No one else on a fast lap besides Alonso. He's improving in sector 2. Yeah, he has a better sector 2 than his fastest lap. And setting up some purple mini sectors in the last sector. Yeah, I still haven't heard from Oli. I think he's still having some technical issues. So we probably won't hear him for FP1. Hopefully for FP2 he's gonna be back. If not, I'll try to cover. Alonso goes P1 with purple sector 3. He didn't have purple sector 1 and 2, but he has managed to do P1. Great sector 3. He's 0.150 ahead of Leclerc. So really great time for Alonso, and it seems like, yeah, he's doing really well this session. Stroll, on the other hand, he is P18 and yeah, doesn't look that good. Ten minutes to go in the session. Half of the grid is in the pits, and the other half is setting up some out laps. Nobody on a fast lap right now. The current state is Alonso P1, Leclerc, Verstappen, then the two McLaren, Hajar in P6, Sainz P7, Hamilton 8, Tsunoda 9, and Ocon is completing the first 10. The two Mercedes drivers are out of the first 10 positions. They are P11 and P12. And Albon is still in the pits because he had the issue in the beginning as the session started. So he probably won't be joining into FP1. I don't know if they will be able to fix the issues for the next session or he will be back tomorrow. Charles G, am I tripping? Sainz in front of Hamilton? Well, actually, Hamilton just goes into P4, so yeah, he sets the fastest sector 3. So Sainz is P8. It says this track is a bit comparable to Hungary, where Aston were really fast there. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, Alonso is going on another fast lap, and he's setting the fastest purple sector 1. He's improving in sector 2, so this might be another fastest lap. Carlo Jenna, what's everybody's FP1 race duration? Am I ahead? I have 8:30 left. It's, yeah, 8:30 left, so you're right on time. And if you think that you are behind, you can just refresh the stream and it will get you up to speed. Alonso is improving his second sector. Still, that's not a purple sector. And let's see if he can further improve his time. He's currently in P1. Here he goes. And I think he improves his time by 0.001. but still it's an improvement. Nobody else is on a fast lap. Well, only Gasly, who has improved his sector 1 and sector 2, and now he's 2 corners away from finishing his lap. Currently sitting on P17. Let's see if he can improve a bit. He's going into P13, right behind Nico Hülkenberg and ahead of Antonelli. Not too bad for the Alpine. They have been struggling a lot. Nobody else is on a fast lap. And now we see Norris comes out for an out lap too. Charles G says, sorry, this is my first time watching. Can you tell me what it means within each sector? So, yeah, I'm not sure what your question is, but basically the track is split into 3 sectors. So you have sector 1, 2, and 3, and you can see them on the map. Sector 1 is the red color, then you have blue as sector 2, and yellow is sector 3. So yeah, basically we are comparing the times of the drivers in each sector. And also each sector is split into mini sectors. You can see in the timings you have these yellow, blue, and green bars. Those are the mini sectors within the 3 main sectors. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, if you have any doubt, please ask me again. Many drivers are on track, but nobody is improving their time. What's going on? Yeah, 65, the Blue Hawk says. So purple means that this is the fastest sector from all drivers. Green would means that he is improving only his time, and yellow that he is slower than his previous fastest time. Javi Bessa says, is this real? Yeah, this is real. Duco says, new commentator, welcome. Yeah, I'm not usually a commentator. I just do the stuff behind the scenes. But we had some issues with Oli, who was going to be the commentator for this session. So some technical issues. So I'm jumping in to keep you guys updated. And this is a bit of a tricky time for Crash. So, but he will be tomorrow on the stream for FP3 and Quali. So you might expect some red flags with him. If Fernando could get on the podium in Singapore, that would be insane for the team at Aston Martin. Yeah, for sure. And also they have their battle in the midfield behind Williams with all the other teams. So it would be really good to score some good points in the following races. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I forgot typing the bar under each S1, 2, and 3. So yeah. Okay, I'm glad it's clear now. But it looked like it with the issues of Albon that we are close to that, but yeah, nothing happening. We have 3 minutes to go. And we will be live for FP2, so let me drop the stream into chat. You can join the stream right after this one ends and hit the like button there. It's really much appreciated, and it helps us to kickstart the stream before it even starts. here it is. And I'm gonna pin it to the top of the chat so you don't miss it. One is now on track except for Stroll and Albon. Trying to set up some last laps before the session ends, and maybe there will be some race starts practice. Okay, 2 minutes to go. Nobody is improving their times. And 84 likes. Thank you everyone for liking. If we can push it to 400, that would be great. It really means a lot for the channel. Let me actually drop the quick like and subscribe pit stop. To go. For those who want to do the predictions right now, I'm gonna drop the link in chat. But you might wanna wait until quali so your predictions are more accurate, I guess. But anyway, it's gonna be live until the race starts. 396 likes, so 4 more until 400. And 28 seconds to go, 26. Three more likes. Can we do it before the session ends? Thank you, Proxy Clips. 401 likes on 10 seconds left, so yeah, we did it. Thank you, everyone. Seems like this will be the final results. Nobody is improving, so Alonso is gonna take P1 in this session with Leclerc and Verstappen on P2 and P3. That's it for this session, everyone. Thank you for watching. We will be back for FP2. You have the link in the chat, in the pinned comment. And yeah, tomorrow see Grash. Later today, hopefully, Olive is gonna fix his issues. If not, I will try to jump in. So anyway, there's gonna be a commentator. 420 likes. Wow, thank you so much. We're gonna go with a bit of music until all the cars go into the pits, and yeah, after that you will be taken to the FP2 stream, so don't forget to hit the like button on that stream too, as it really helps us kickstart the stream. Okay,